Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Uyai Aniaka and come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of the Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. President Buhari says marginal FCT for NG Cares program. Plus, Russian President Vladimir Putin visits occupied Kherson region in Ukraine war. We will bring you details of these stories and more after this moment. First in the news this afternoon is Nigeria's leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, who has said that the federal government, under his watch, made over 203 billion naira from the sale of petroleum prospecting licenses to 161 firms in its last marginal fields bid round. Buhari, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, revealed this at the opening ceremony of the 6th edition of the Nigeria International Energy Summit at the State House, Abuja. The president also said his government created a conducive environment for businesses to thrive, adding that signing the Petroleum Industry Bill into law remains his biggest achievement in the energy sector.
The award of petroleum prospective licenses to 161 successful farms, with the federal government reckoning about 200 billion naira as well as $7 million from the process.
Away from that, the federal government has approved the release of 45.3 big stimulus NG Cares program. The national coordinator of NG Cares program, Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje, who announced the disbursement in Abuja, said the funds disbursed were based on results each state and FCT earned after a rigorous results verification exercise conducted by an independent consultant. He added that the results earned by the state and FCT show significant progress towards achieving the set objectives and targets of the NG Cares program. Reports say NG Cares to livelihood support and food security services and grants for poor and vulnerable households and firms. Meanwhile, the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has announced that the $2.8 billion at Jakarta, Kaduna, Kanu, AKK natural gas pipeline project being constructed by the federal government through the Nigerian 3.6 gigawatts, about 3,600 megawatts of electricity, noting that the AKK pipeline was a major project of the administration of President Buhari. The Vice President recalled that Buhari inaugurated the AKK pipeline project in July of 2020, where it was announced that the Bank of China and Sinosure, a Chinese export and credit insurance corporation, were to fund the $2.8 billion facility. Speaking on some of the accomplishments of the current government, he said the AKK project was one of the government's giant strides, particularly in the oil and gas sector.
We also made giant strides in infrastructure. We kick-started the $2.8 billion US dollars Ajakuta Kaduna Kano AKK natural gas pipeline project. The X gathering projects and help to generate 3.6 gigawatts of power and support gas-based industries along the route when completed. At present, the 614-kilometer gas pipeline is 43% completed.
In the main payment of the 40% pay rise by the end of April this year, noting that the 3 months arrears of January, February and March will be paid at a later date. She noted that if the proposal earlier sent to the President for approval sails through, allowance and salaries will be increased by 40% for civil servants from level 1 to level 7 servants in the country. In politics, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC for the Adamawa State governorship election, Senator Aisha Binani Dahiru, has filed a motion ex parte before the Federal High Court in Abuja, seeking a judicial review of the administrative decision of the Independent National Election of March and the supplementary poll of April 15. Senator Binani is also seeking an order of prohibition and certiorari preventing INEC and its agents from taking any further steps towards the declaration of the winner of the elections, pending the determination of application her as the winner of the elections. But the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its candidate Governor Amadou Fintiri, who was sued as the second and third respondents, resorted to fighting and causing a public disturbance, which led to the alleged beating and manhandling of an INEC staff. This crisis, she says, led INEC to cancel the initial declaration which it had that INEC usurped the powers of the Election Petition Tribunal, which is the only court vested with powers on a declaration from the conduct of an election. The applicant further submits that the INEC, being an agency of the government, can have its actions, records and decisions. On security, the Police High Command has revived its digitalized Central Motor Registry (CMR) information service to serve the public better. Force spokesman CSP Muyiwa Adejobi, who hinted of the revamped portal, said the digitalized CMR will effectively serve the purpose of obtaining additional information from members not stolen and to aid investigation of stolen vehicles and vehicle-associated incidents. It noted that owners of motor vehicles operating on Nigerian roads and members of the public are hereby notified that the new procedure for requesting for NPF Central Motor Registry services such as motor vehicle information, change of ownership, change of engine, create a profile on the CMRIS portal and apply for the desired vehicle initials. According to him, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has therefore urged Nigerians and residents to effectively utilize the portal. In a separate development, aviation workers have threatened to shut down the country's airports as they enter the second day of their strike as federal government failed to meet their demands. Recall that the aviation workers embarked on the strike after a meeting called by the Nigerian Waid. The second day of the ongoing strike will be more effective, noting that the first day of the strike was a warning to the public and the government that they are serious about their demands. He also urged people, who have scheduled travel plans today to shelve their plans, as the strike action will be a total shutdown. This was despite a statement by the Ministry of Aviation yesterday, pleading with the striking workers to suspend the industrial action that led to many air passengers being stranded. Across Jam has extended the closing date for the 2023 direct entry DE registration by 1 week, starting from Friday, April 21st. In a statement, JAMB spokesman Dr. Fabian Benjamin said that the DE registration exercise commenced on Monday, the 20th of March, and was billed to end on Thursday, April 20. For the exercise, on account of some issues associated with the verification of their certificates, another opportunity to do so. He said it would as well accommodate others who wished to register but were unable to do so within the stipulated time. We move now to Africa, where Iraq creates an end to the crisis in the African country. In a statement, Rashid expressed firm confidence in the wisdom of the brothers in Sudan, saying that the ability to hold peaceful and democratic dialogue is enough to overcome the crisis by immediately stopping fighting and armed actions. Reports say nearly 200 people have been killed and another 1,800 injured in 3 days of fighting between the rival factions in Sudan, which is gripped by deadly fighting between rival forces. Reports say Irish Foreign Minister Michael Martin, who confirmed that the Irish diplomat was not seriously hurt, described the attack as a gross violation of obligations to protect diplomats. According to the United Nations, about 185 people have reportedly been killed and more than 1,800 injured in 3 days of fighting. On the foreign scene, attended a military command meeting to hear reports from military commanders. Putin is also thought to have visited the Luhansk region. Meanwhile, reports say such trips by the Russian leader are rare, although he made a surprise visit to the city of Mariupol in March. Russian troops retreated from the city of Kherson late last year, losing the own remains under Russian control. Elsewhere, the White House has criticized Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva for accusing the United States of encouraging the war in Ukraine. Lula reportedly said after a visit to China at the weekend that the U.S. needed to start talking about peace in Ukraine and stop encouraging the war. Meanwhile, recall that Russia waged a full invasion of Ukraine in February last year, and the International Criminal Court has since issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Still to come in the news. Liverpool hammer Leeds for first time in 5 CAN games. We'll bring you details of this and more after the break.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have informed, educated, and entertained us. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Come May 17th this year, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather at a hotel and suites for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and excellence in the broadcast media. Voting starts on 20th April and ends on 4th May 2020. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Bonn.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news. In business, figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria has revealed that the country's external reserves fell by $112.78 million in 2 weeks to $35.40 billion. According to the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN data on the movement of external reserves, the reserves, which stood at $36.99 million as at the end of January 1, 2023, fell to $36.67 billion as at February 27, 2023, and $35.53 billion as at March 30, 2023. Meanwhile, the CBN crude oil price. Still in business, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says Nigeria's headline inflation rate increased to 22.04% on a year-on-year basis in March 2023. This is according to the NBS Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report for March 2023 released in Abuja. According to the report, the figure is 0.13% points higher. The headline inflation rate in March 2023 was 6.13% higher than the rate recorded in March 2022 at 15.92%. The report added that the contributions of items on the divisional level to the increase in the headline index are food and non-alcoholic beverages at 11.42% and housing, water, electricity, gas and fuel at 3.69%. In health, anxiety and stress reduction have been identified as some of the best strategies to enhance memory and overcome common memory lapses. This was made known by a consultant neurologist at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, AD Araba, Lagos. Dr. Agbori mental lapses experienced are normal and not signs of dementia. According to him, brain health is critical to the overall health as it underlies the ability to communicate, make decisions, problem solve, and live a productive and useful life. He pointed out that certain foods such as fatty fish, coffee, turmeric, nuts, broccoli, blueberries, eggs, oranges, green tea, among them. Still in health, as fighting reportedly continues in Khartoum and other parts of Sudan, the World Health Organization (WHO) has called on all parties to the conflict to respect the neutrality of healthcare and ensure unrestricted access to health facilities for those injured in the hostilities. WHO, I beg your pardon, in a statement on its website, also reminded all parties of their obligations under international humanitarian law to protect the wounded and sick, civilians, healthcare workers, ambulances, and health facilities. The Global Cross Khartoum, South Kordofan, North Darfur, Northern State, and other parts of the nation. In sports now, Mohamed's second successive home hammering on Leeds United, who remain mired deep in the relegation battle. The Reds had not won since putting 7 unanswered goals past Manchester United at the start of March, but after a slow start, they ruthlessly dismantled Javi Gracia's hapless side. Trent Alexander-Arnold used an arm to control the ball, but neither Jurgen Klopp's side remained 8th in the Premier League table, a point behind 7th place Brighton and 2 shy of Aston Villa in the 6th. Still in sports, the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, has announced that Argentina will replace Indonesia as the Under-20 World Cup host. According to FIFA, Argentina will host the Under-20 World Cup from May 20 to June 11. This announcement is coming after the association took the tournament from Indonesia just weeks before kickoff. Meanwhile, FIFA presidents failed to qualify on merit. It would be recalled that FIFA withdrew hosting rights from Indonesia last month after protests against Israel's participation in the tournament. On our entertainment news, Nollywood actress Bimbo Ademoye has said that investing in Jade Osiberi's movie Gangs of Lagos is the best fight on global streaming giant Amazon Prime. Ademoye added that it has always been her desire to invest in the film industry, but was skeptical about recovering the huge amount of money put into filmmaking given its style of shooting. Still on entertainment, famous Nollywood actress and filmmaker Toyin MVCA Jakuma was nominated in the Best Cinematography category, Best Picture Editor and Best Sound Editor. Reports say this comes 2 years after she was ignored by the AMVCA despite being crowned the highest grossing actress in 2021 after producing her movie The Ghost and the Tout, which was a success at the box office. Sharing the news on her Instagram page, she expressed gratitude to God as she noted that hard work always pays off. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum TV News at 12. I am, and Nekan. Thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of your day.